बुद्धि युक्तो जहाति उभे सुकृत दुष्कृते तस्माद् योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम् बुद्धि युक्तः, one who is engaged in devotional service, jahati, he can get rid of iha, in this life, uve, both, sukrita duskrite, good and bad results, tasmad, therefore, yogaya, for the sake of devotional service, yujyasva, be so engaged, yoga, Krishna consciousness, karmasu, in all activities, kausalam, art. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions, even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. Please repeat. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions, even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. Purport. Since time immemorial, each living entity has accumulated various reactions of his good and bad work. As such, he is continuously ignorant of his real constitutional position. One's ignorance can be removed by the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita, which teaches one to surrender unto Lord Krishna, Lord Sri Krishna in all respects, and become liberated from the chain victimization of action and reaction, birth after birth. Arjuna is therefore advised to act in Krishna consciousness, the purifying process of resultant action. So it's a very short purport. Translation: a man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. So this is from the chapter 2 of the Gita, where Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. Ube sukrita duskrite. So everybody, we think that we should have. How come Krishna is saying that you should rid yourself of both good and bad reactions? Right? We all know that we should not do bad karma. Bad karma is called vikarma. We know that if we do something bad, bad comes to us, right? But Krishna is also saying that even good is not good enough. Why? So there is three kinds of karma. One is akarma, means no karma. Karma, which is duties prescribed by the Vedas. And vikarma means against the Vedas, activities against the Vedas. So everybody, when we talk to each other, they will say, I believe in doing good. We must be good. But what is good, nobody knows. Who is going to decide what is good? Right? What is the standard of good? I mean, you think about it. In those days, 200 years ago, slavery was good. Right? 17th century. The British, the Americans, they went to Africa. They brought all the Africans as Negro slaves. And that was something very good. But now it's bad, right? Those days, if you have this same-sex marriage, it's bad. But nowadays, if you say anything about it, people will accuse you of being very narrow-minded. Right? So this good and bad keeps changing. Because this world is a relative world. So the good and bad has to be given by Krishna himself. Like now, the law of the country, can I decide what is the law of the country? Can I say, okay, today, according to me, the law allows me to cross the road when the traffic light is red? Can I do that? What will happen if I do that? I'll get hit by the truck. So the government only can set what is the law, what you can do, what you can't do. And that's why we have scripture. We have Shastra. Alright? Krishna says here, Yasastra Mutrichya Vartate Kamakaratah Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti Na Sukam Na Paramgatim. He who discards scriptural injunction and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. So if we want to decide what is good and what is bad based on our own whims, our whimsical attempt, it will lead neither to perfection nor happiness, na sukam, na param gatim. You will not attain the supreme destination. So do we want to go in this way? No. So we must understand this point that I cannot decide what is good and bad. That good and bad has to come from Sadhu, Shastra, Guru. Krishna himself has to give this knowledge. Like if you see even the next verse, you see, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Vyavashitav Yatva Shastram Vidhanoktam Karma Kartam Iharasi. One should therefore understand what is duty, what is not duty by regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. So we have to take guidance of the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, and then we know how to live our life. If not, we are going to live our life thinking I'm doing something good, but then when you leave your body, you're going to go to hell and suffer. Do you want that? Right? Many people in this world, they think that they are doing something good. Example, recently we saw one documentary in China. Not many people knows about this. Mao Zedong, I think the first Prime Minister of China. So he brought in this communist ideology, and he wanted to align with Russia to get their military aid and all their financial aid and everything. So Russia also wanted something back from China. Russia wanted their grains, their crops, agriculture. So there was a deal, there was a trading deal that you provide us this, we will provide you with military support and all these other things. So this Mao Zedong pushed all the farmers, so he thought this is good for the country, he pushed all the farmers to produce as much grains as possible, rice, wheat, everything. And then the production was not going, as what he expected. Why? Because these sparrows were there. You see, the sparrow will come and eat the grains, right? So he thought of a very brilliant idea. Let me kill all these sparrows. There should not be any sparrows. When the sparrows all die, we will have more rice. And we have more rice, we can get more money from Russia. So he thought this is good to do. He went on a campaign paying the citizens. The more sparrows you kill, the more you get paid. They went on a rampage, killing all the sparrows. But you cannot go against nature. You see, according to our Shastra, we understand very clearly that killing is wrong. And nature responds. Nature gives the reply also. So for all the sparrows they killed, you see, the sparrow was top of the chain, the predator for the locusts. You see, this locust is also there. So he forgot about the locusts. And when there was no more sparrows, there was so much of locusts, it was an infestation. I don't know what you call that word. It was a famine, a plague. So much of locusts just came in and ate all the grains. And people have no more food to eat. You just see the chain reaction of what is happening. Because one man thought he is doing something good for his people. And you know what's the casualty? You want to make a guess? How many people died from this? No. Hitler, we are angry with Hitler for killing 6 million. No? 60 million people died. And this history is not, because Chinese communist propaganda, they don't want to let their leader be ashamed. So this man caused the death of 60 million people because people were starving. There was some eyewitness report where they were so hungry, they went to the mud. The mud is there on the field. The mud was moist, wet. So they took the mud and they eat the mud, to cope up with the hunger. And when the mud went into the intestines, it became solidified. and they died because the mud became like concrete inside their stomachs. So, now this is an example that what we think is good is actually. So if you follow Bhagavad Gita, अन्नात् भवति भूतानि प्रजन्यारन्न संभवात् यज्ञात् भवति प्रजन्यो यज्ञ कर्म समुद्भवात्. So what Krishna says, all living bodies subsist on food grains which are produced from rains, and rains are produced of yajna, sacrifice, and yajna is born of prescribed duties. So if you do your duties according to the Bhagavad Gita and you engage in sacrifice, so what is this sacrifice? In Kali Yuga, this sacrifice is Harinam Sankirtan. If you engage in just simple Harinam Sankirtan, everybody, the rain will come. We cannot produce rain, right? Krishna will provide the rain, and the rain will produce the grains, and your economic problem is finished. You don't need to think of this brilliant idea of killing some sparrows and causing a catastrophe. Right? So very simple, just one verse in the Gita solves all the economic, this grain problem of the world. Right? But people don't follow. Nobody wants to engage in this most auspicious activity of Sankirtana. Right? How many people in the world are chanting? So this is the answer. Like there's another example also you can see in Russia. What happened when Stalin was there? So what happened at that time was there's the fourth largest lake in the world called the Aral Sea. You can Google it. ARALC. Aral Sea. It's huge. Now you see it's nothing. It's almost like a desert with a small amount of water only. Why? So the Russian leader taught that it is very important that they should produce cotton in those areas of Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan and all. So they decided that they should, so the rivers, they are pouring water into that sea, right, into that lake, Aral. They decided to cut off that river so that they can use the water to produce cotton for economic development. And yes, sure enough, they succeeded. They were one of the top producers of cotton, they are making money. But guess what? Because the water is not flowing into the sea, so many animals died. It's the population around this, everybody have no more water, also the source of water is no more. And even worse, they used to test their rockets and missiles in this place, in this sea. They will shoot their nuclear and all this stuff. So there's nuclear waste lying in the seabed, and when there's no more water and the water dries up, you just get a desert. And then what happens? When the wind comes, that wind carries all the salt, this sandstorm they call it, it carries back all the salt and all the nuclear waste back to the Russian cities. And how many people died of cancer? The mortality rate is very low around there. Sorry, very high. So, you see another disaster, man-made disaster. Because we think we want to do something good. Right? So we have to follow the scriptures. You see? Also, you see, Krishna also himself says in the same chapter, Emev tamidam nityam anutishtanti manava shatavanto nashuyanto muchyante tepi karmavihi. Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions, to follow this teaching faithfully without envy, become free from the bondage of fruitive actions. So by executing our duties according to the scriptures, according to the sadhu and shastra and guru, then we are rightly situated. Then we do not need to suffer these reactions of good and bad. Okay, yes, we understand if you do bad, you will get bad reaction. What about good reactions? How come you suffer for that also? So there's a story for that. See, if you try to do something good, and even if a small miscalculation happens, you're going to suffer. The story is coming from the pastimes of Lord Krishna. There's a king called Nirga. King Nirga, he was a great king. So charitable, extremely charitable king. He used to give charity to the brahmanas like anything. So much of cows he will give, and not normal cows, all well taken, very healthy, beautiful desi cows. Their horns are, gold-plated horns, silk cloth on their back, and he used to give that kind of cows and wealth to the brahmanas um, that you could not even count. He had so much of wealth, more than even the amount of sand you can count on the world, on the earth. So he was distributing, and he was giving. See, there's also charity in different levels. If you give charity to a drunken, you will have karma, because he will take the money, he will take alcohol, you will face the karma. But he was giving to the most qualified person, who is Brahmana. Why Brahmana? Because Brahmana, their duty is to educate the people how to come out of this cycle of birth and death. Right? So Brahmanas, they are so dedicated in their duty that they don't even work for money. They don't waste their time working for a job. They live a very simple life so that they have so much of compassion to help others. That is Brahmana. Patan, Patan, Yajan, Yajan. Dana, Pratigraha. And when you give them charity, they take the charity and they distribute to others. That is Brahmana. You see? So, he gave it to the Brahmana because Brahmanas, they are working in the most highest level of, for the highest benefit of the society, to help people not return to this material world of suffering. So he gave charity to the most qualified people, Brahmana, right? So his idea was, let me do good to the people, let me do good to the Brahmanas, let me collect all this good karma, let me go to the heaven, Swarga, and let me enjoy that. See, even if you go to the heavenly planets, yeah, you can go, you can do good things, you can go to the heavenly planets, you can live there for 100 million years. Millions of years you will live, but you come back again. So what is the use of that kind of goodness, right? Like, you do so much of goodness that you, see, now you're in a hospital, right? The whole idea is to get out of the hospital, no? Not to get from C grade ward to A grade ward. And you get A grade ward, you're very satisfied. Very nice, aircon room, nobody beside me, coffee, I have a private room. That is not the goal. No. The goal is to get out of the hospital. So going to the A grade ward is same like going to heavenly planet. So anyway, King Nirga was doing so much of charity like that. Profusely he was giving. But one day, one unfortunate day happened that he gave a lot of cows, let's say 100,000 cows to one Brahmana. Right? And one of the cow from this Brahmana came out, ran away from him and came back to the king. And the king didn't realize this. And he took another set of cows and gave to another Brahmana. So this cow from this Brahmana, Brahmana A went to Brahmana B. Okay? And then he did not know what's happening. So suddenly Brahmana A comes and accuses him that my cow is gone and you have taken and given to this Brahmana now. Actually both of them have argument first. Both of Brahmana A and B have argument saying, you got my cow, give it back to me. And then the Brahmana B says, no, the king gave to me, how can I give it back to you? So there was a big commotion and argument, and they decided, let's go and see the king. And the king could not satisfy both of them, because if he takes from this Brahmana and gives to this Brahmana, this person will be dissatisfied. If he tells him, okay, you just adjust, I'll give you new set of cows, he is also not happy, right? So he tries to pacify them, and eventually he tells Brahmana A, I will give you a new set of 100,000 cows. Okay, please stop. Do not, because he knows the curse of a Brahmana is very powerful. You cannot escape the curse of a Brahmana. If you offend the Brahmanas, of course you may ask why the Brahmana are behaving like that. Because this is a pastime enacted by the Lord to show us what happens even if you are doing so much of good. What happens? You see. So the Brahmanas, they are not greedy for the cow, but it's a pastime of the Lord. The story directed by the Lord to show us a lesson. So after that, he tried his best to pacify them, and nobody agreed. And they walked away. And then he realized that he has committed a big offense. Because if you read the chapter also, in the Krishna 10th canto, if you steal the property of a devotee or a Brahmana, you're going to suffer a lot of karma. So we have to be very careful of this. So in the end, King Nirga eventually passes away and he goes to Yamaraj. And Yamaraj says that you have done so much of good karma that you can stay in heaven for so long, such a long time. But same time you also did this mistake here. So you have a bad karma to pay for. So what do you want to do? Do you want to enjoy first and suffer later, or suffer first and enjoy later? So he was quite intelligent. He said, let me suffer first. So what happens? He becomes a lizard, a big giant lizard in a well. And this happened 5,000 years ago, where Krishna was there in Dwaraka. So one day Krishna's sons, Krishna had so many sons, 16,108 wives, each had 9 sons. So all of them were playing together, right? And then they were playing football, I think. I mean, not that kind of football, but they were playing with ball. Don't mistaken with the World Cup, not that. But they were just playing with the ball, and the ball fell into the well. And when they saw inside the well, there was a huge lizard. And they all tried to save the lizard, but not able to. So eventually, they all ran back home and called their father, Krishna, please help us. There's a lizard there, please save him. So Krishna comes, just very simply with his left hand, just picks up this giant lizard. And by touching Krishna's hand, the lizard becomes a beautiful devata, a demigod, extremely beautiful. And he bows down and he tells that, my lord, So Krishna asks, how come you're a lizard and how come you became a demigod? Then the demigod, King Nirga says that, my lord, there's nothing unknown to you. You know the whole story. But because you're asking, I will tell. So he narrates the story of what happened to him. And then he says that, but this suffering is very good for me. Why? Because end of the day, you have touched me. You have liberated me. You see? He said, I don't mind being a lizard. So we will think, we became a lizard is very bad. It's bad karma. No? We should avoid bad karma. No, but here Nirga is teaching us that if we are in a bad situation, but if we can see the Lord, that is a good situation. You see? Materially it is bad, but spiritually it is good. So Nirga, he prays that now that I am going to heaven, so he gets a chance to go to heaven. After Krishna touches his body, Krishna says, now you are free, go to heaven. And you know what Nirga says? He said, my Lord, I pray to you that even in heaven, I may not forget you. Because if I forget you, then again I am going to suffer. So please give me this remembrance. See? So Nirga is teaching us that suffering is okay. Material suffering is okay as long as we can remember Krishna. And if we can remember Krishna, that is the ultimate good. This is the art of work. Ube sukrita duskrite tasmad yogaya ichchasva yoga karmasu kausalam. So it doesn't matter. Bhutti yukto jahatiha. See? When you do devotional service and you can remember the Lord, that is the greatest goodness. Material goodness is of no value. Of course, we know other stories, right? We know the Damodara Leela, where Narada Muni curses Manigriva and Nalakuvera to become a tree because they were naked. They were in heaven enjoying so much. They did so much of good karma. Enjoying in heaven, they forgot the sadhu was there. So they were cursed to become a tree. But guess what? Krishna, in his Damodara Leela, he's tied to the wooden grinding mortar. And Krishna breaks the 2 trees and liberates them. And they also say, oh my Lord, thank you for saving us. So we may think, they became a tree, that is bad. It's not bad. It is actually good that they were saved by Krishna. So if we are in a bad karma situation, it's okay. We must pray and remember Krishna, that Krishna will, as long as the remembrance of Krishna is there, that is real goodness. Whereas I may be enjoying my life day and night, like a billionaire, I'll be enjoying like anything. But if I cannot remember Krishna, that is more dangerous. That is much, much more dangerous, that kind of maya. You see? What other examples we have? Narada Muni, right? These 2 examples are there, where something looks like bad, but it's not bad. Or even Gajendra, right? Gajendra was cursed to be an elephant. right? But in his elephant body, while he was attacked by the crocodile, he prayed to the Lord. Narayana Kiloguru Bhagavan Namaste. You know. So the most bad thing is forgetfulness of Krishna is the most bad thing. You can see here. This is from the 3rd canto, 31st chapter, where the child is in the womb. You see, when the child is in the mother's womb for 9 months, right? And it's facing so much of pain. Extreme amount of pain. You cannot even imagine. Within a few seconds you will die now if we are in this situation. So in the Bhagavatam, in this canto 331, the child is crying to the Lord, please save me from this suffering. See, and then now look at what he says. Therefore, my Lord, although I am living in a terrible condition, I do not wish to depart my mother's abdomen to fall again into the blind well of materialistic life. Your external energy called Deva Maya at once captures the newly born child and immediately false identification, which is the beginning of cycle of continual birth and death begins. So the child is saying that I am suffering here, so much of pain. But yet, now because while he was in pain, he can see the Lord. He's seeing the Lord, he's remembering the Lord. And he's praying, please save me. And then he remembers that if I come out of this pain, I will suffer. I will again forget you. Maya will cover me. I will suffer repeated birth and death. So better I stay in this womb and not come out. Better let me suffer here. Anybody will pray like this? No, right? But these are how self-realized souls, this is how they pray. No matter what difficulty, they pray that let me not forget you at any moment. Or even, you see, Kunti Devi is praying. Vipada Santuta Sasva Tatra Tatra Jagatguru Bhavato Darshana Yatsya Apunar Bhavadarshana. I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means we will no longer see repeated birth and death. So what is this calamities again and again? You know, everybody knows the Mahabharata, right? How much difficulties Pandavas went through, how much difficulties Kunti Devi went through, right? From a young age, right? She lost her husband. After that, you know, raising up these children, and all the Kauravas were trying to kill them. So much of trouble she went through. Her daughter-in-law went through so much of trouble, Draupadi. Yet she says that let me go through again and again these problems. Why? Because when the problem was there, Krishna is always there. Is it correct? So this is the lesson that we have to understand from the lives of pure devotees. So we already understood that we have to understand good and bad from scriptures. We also have to understand that if we try to do good ourselves, what happens? We mess up, we get so much suffering. We saw the story of King Nirga. Sometimes we also try to judge Krishna on our good and bad. You see, that's another problem. Example, like Krishna, he in the Mahabharata, sometimes he acted in a way that is contrary. Like he told Dhristadyumna to chop the head of Dronacharya. He told Arjuna to shoot Karna when Karna was, lifting the wheel. So we say, oh, Krishna, he is doing bad. No. You must understand another thing, that anything Krishna does, he is the ultimate good. He is the supreme authority. If Krishna says that do this way, that is dharma. You must see this. Yamaruta vacha veda pranihito dharmo yadharmastat viparjaya vedo narayana sakshat swayambhur iti sushma. Yamadutas replied, that which is prescribed in the Vedas constitute dharma, religious principles, and opposite of that is irreligion. The Vedas are directly the Supreme Personality of God in Narayana and are self-born. This we have heard from Yamaraj. So here you can see the Guru Parampara. They are hearing from the Mahajana. Yamaraj is one of the Mahajana of the universe. So anything that is in the Vedas, it is Dharma. And who gave the Vedas? Krishna. Right? So we must understand that any action performed by Krishna, that is real Dharma. We cannot judge him based on our small brain. Oh, Krishna had so many wives. Why we cannot? So you cannot actually imitate the Lord. In fact, all of us are wives of the Lord only. Everybody is a Prakriti. Everybody belongs to the Lord. You know, we are all part and parcel. We all belong to the service of the Lord. So when he has so many wives, what is the problem then? If you have your wife and somebody accuses you, why you have this person as a wife? Is it correct or wrong? He's your legally married wife, right? So same thing, we are actually having Krishna's wives as our own now. That's what we are doing. We are enjoying Krishna's property as our own now. And we are telling Krishna don't exist. Like now, I am staying in your house, I am renting your property, I am renting your room. I use all your things, then I say you don't exist. And I don't even pay the rental. I say, who are you? Landlord, I don't know you. You know, how foolish is that, right? So this is what we are doing. So we must understand that anything done by the Lord, it is always good. You know, it is never bad. It's just that our misunderstanding of this. That's why we have to take guidance from the scriptures, guidance from the devotees to understand these things. And another thing is, we are talking about good and bad. So for us, we are very concerned. Oh, you must see the nice muhurta, you must see the auspicious time to do something. Then only the good things will happen, right? But you see, Krishna, he doesn't care about good and bad also. Material good and bad, he doesn't care. For his devotees, he doesn't care. What is an example I can give you? You see Lord Chaitanya, right? Appeared 500 years ago. In where? Navadip, Mayapur. So when the Lord appeared, it was an eclipse of the moon. And according to astrology, when Rahu is with the moon, it's inauspicious. Right? Whenever recently we had an eclipse, right? Oh, it's very inauspicious. You shouldn't go out. You cannot eat the food. We have so many rules and regulations. Oh, this is bad. You should not do this. Correct? So, this is seemingly bad for us, but when Lord Chaitanya appeared, it was an eclipse time. It was a bad time, materially speaking. But why he did that? Because during the eclipse, what people do is, everybody chants, Hari, 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 Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. So people are not inclined to do any chanting at all. Nobody wants to chant. Nobody wants to come temple. But sometimes when these inauspicious things happen, it is easier to encourage them to chant. So Krishna, he didn't care about the bad things happening now. He said, Naman, let me come now, let me enter now, let me born now, so that everybody will chant my name. I don't care how it looks like on me. You see? So he is not affected by that. In fact, for our deliverance, he is getting into a so-called bad situation. In fact, in the Chaitanya Bhagavad is written that when the whole Navadip was chanting his name, Hari, 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 all the devotees there were praying, oh my Lord, let this eclipse continue forever. Let this continue forever. Let this bad thing continue forever, so that your name will always be chanted. So the eclipse is not a bad thing if there is chanting. See? If you have chanting in your life, you have the Hare Krishna mantra in your life, then nothing is good, nothing is bad. You understand? We'll see this. See this verse. Okay. You know how to find that verse where Lord Shiva is saying that the God is a good day and bad day? Is there in a Vedas? Is there in some purport? Anyway, before that, we will see another verse. So here, there's another verse, you see, in the purport. Go kotidhanam grahane kavesya prayag ganodhak kalpavasah yajnayuktam meru suvarnadhanam govind kritena samam satam. Even if one distributes 10 million cows in charity, like Durga, during an eclipse of the sun, lives at a confluence of Ganges and Yamuna for millions of years, or gives a mountain of gold in sacrifice to the Brahmana, he does not earn 100 path of merit derived from chanting Hare Krishna. So even though the Lord purposely appeared in the time of eclipse just to make everybody chant the holy name, he is not affected by the eclipse. How about Krishna? Where he appeared? Everybody born, all of us take birth in the hospital, right? Or somewhere in the house. Krishna took birth where? In the jail. Is it an auspicious thing to take birth in a jail? No. If you hear a story like that, he took birth in the jail, we will be like, oh, what an unlucky child, you know. What kind of criminal parents he had. But here, to satisfy his pure devotee, Devaki and Vasudeva, Krishna said, never mind. For my devotee, I will take birth in the jail. I will bring light where there is darkness. So he took birth in the jail. Where? What else? You know how Varaha came? Lord Varaha? Where he came from? Lord Varaha came from the nose of Brahma. This nose is very nice, is it? When you put your hand and you do this, what? Some kids, they will put and eat also. Very nice, right? The nose. But Varahadev came from the nose of Brahma. Did he? Why? Because he wanted to satisfy Brahma. Brahma was crying, please save the universe. The whole world has been taken by Hiranyaksha, drowning in the ocean. Please. Prahlad Maharaj, how the Lord appeared? Narasimha. Actually, he was just waiting. Prahlad was asked by, Hiranyakashipu was, where's your Lord? Is he here? Yeah, he's there. So immediately Krishna appeared there. If let's say Prahlad pointed to the chair, is he here? He will go inside there also. For the devotee, he takes anywhere, any place, anytime. He doesn't care this good and bad also. So here we are so concerned about, this good timing, that this all. Only one thing we need to do. We chant the holy name of Krishna and all goodness appears. See? This is the most auspicious thing. This is the most good thing. Tasmat sankirtanam Vishnu jagal mangalamahasam mahadamapi kauravya vidi vidyakantika nishkatam. Sukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is able to uproot even the reactions of the greatest sins. Therefore, the chanting of Sankirtana movement is the most auspicious activity in the entire universe. Please try to understand this so others will take it seriously. So this is the most auspicious. If you want to do good, then you vibrate this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. You chant the holy name of the Lord. But, and you see even the next verse, one who constantly hears the holy and chants the holy name of the Lord and hears and chants about his activities can very easily attain the platform of pure devotional service, which can cleanse the dirt of one's heart. One cannot achieve such purification merely observing vows and performing Vedic ritualistic ceremony. So if you want to clean your heart from all the dirt, if you want to attain happiness, you want to attain peace, if you want to, you see, everybody, they will say one thing, anything also will say, oh, Kali Yuga, very bad, Kali Yuga, it's a very bad time. Yeah, we are in a Kali Yuga, but you guys see this verse. Kalau krita yuga tasya kalistasya krite yuge yasya chetasi govindo hridaye yasya na yuchita. For one who has Lord Govinda in his heart, Satya Yuga becomes manifest in the midst of Kali. And conversely, even Satya Yuga becomes Kali Yuga for one who does not have the infallible Lord in the heart. So even if you are in Kali Yuga, but if you have the Lord in your heart, by chanting this name, He reveals Himself, then it becomes Satya Yuga. But if you are in Satya Yuga and you don't even chant the name of the Lord, it becomes Kali Yuga. Understand? So this is how powerful and how auspicious this holy name is. The day I was hearing this story from Sadhbhuj Prabhu. Actually, I didn't know this story existed, but after that, I went and made a research and threw it out. So there was a story. So this is connected to the holy names. There was a devotee called Sharanga Thakur in Mayapur, Navadip Dham. So he was a great devotee of the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You know, every day he was sitting under the what tree is that? Bakul tree. There's a bakul tree. So he sits under this tree. He does all his chanting, his deity seva, everything alone. He doesn't have any disciples. So he does all his austerities, his penance, his dham seva, Vaishnava seva under this tree. So what happened was this tree was dying. And one day Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and saw him and said, "Oh, this tree is going to die, then how are you going to continue your service here?" Right? So Saranga Thakur said, "My Lord, but if you desire, you can save the tree." So Lord Chaitanya immediately embraced that tree. And immediately the tree again became fresh, new. Right? So this is one part of the story. Then after that, Lord Chaitanya always encourages him when he sees him, "Please initiate, take a disciple, take somebody as your Sishya." Then he says, "No, I cannot take any disciple because I myself do not know I'm going to be going liberated. How I can liberate another person?" So this is true. Of course, he is a pure devotee. In Shastra, it says that one should not be a parent. Guru nasyas, pita nasyas, janani nasyas. Should not be a parent, one should not be a devata, one should not be a guru if you cannot deliver your dependents. You know? Because you will take their karma, you're going to take that karma also, and you also have so much of karma to clear, and you are not qualified to go back to Godhead. You cannot save them, you are going to answer for so many of these things. So you must become a responsible parent. You must become a devotee, then you can educate your child in Krishna consciousness. So here Sharanga Thakur refused to take any disciple, but here you see the Lord ordered him to be a guru. So unless one is ordered by the Lord, you cannot be guru also. So one day he decided, okay, let me initiate the first person I see tomorrow. Whoever, the first person I see, I will give them Diksha. Never mind who is it, no matter who it is. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been persistently asking me this. So in the morning, at 3:30 a.m., he goes to take shower at the Ganga, you know. So he goes to I don't know what time, 3:30, 3 o'clock. He goes to the Ganga, he takes his bath, and suddenly one dead body comes and touches his leg. And then he looks at it and he saw a dead body. He said, "Oh, this is the first person I'm meeting today." And it's a 5-year-old boy. You see, children, they don't bury they don't burn the body. So what they do is, if a child dies, they put on a banana stem, but not a banana leaf stem, and they let it down the Ganga. So this boy happens to be a boy who, in the previous day, he was supposed to take Brahmin Diksha. You know, what do you call it? Upanaya. Upanaya Samskar. But he passed away. He got bitten by a snake. So the parents were very sad. They put him in the river. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there when this happened. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, "Why don't you whisper the Hare Krishna mantra into his ear?" You know. And then Sharanga Thakur said, "Okay, my lord." And he started chanting Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. And immediately the boy came back to life. You know. So it's a miracle, right? Dead body coming back to life. The soul of the boy came back, and immediately he bowed down to Sharanga Thakur and said, "You are my guru. I surrender unto you. You saved my life. From today onwards, I will serve you." See? And then the parents found out the boy is alive, immediately came and started calling the boy, come back to us. And he said, who are you? You are my parents from previous life. I already died. I have nothing to do with you. He saved my life. He is my real parent now. I am supposed to serve him. And the son didn't go back to his parents. He remained in the ashram of Sharanga Thakur and did his service for his guru. So what we can see here, the power of the holy name. You know, that anyway everybody is going to die only. Right? We all are going to die. We're going to take another birth and die again. We're going to take another birth and die again. We're going to suffer like this again and again. But if we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, we can stop this cycle of birth and death. Right? So this is what we have to understand, that if you want to do anything good, then you have to do like that. You have to take shelter of the holy name of the Lord. So definitely encourage all of you all to, if you have not have the beads with you, please purchase them. Daily in the morning, wake up. You want good luck, right? You want auspiciousness. Wake up in the morning, you chant the holy name. Then you start your day like that. And of course, we have to come to the level of 16 rounds. When you come to 16 rounds, then Prabhupada, then we are pleasing the Guru, Prabhupada. And when Prabhupada is pleased, then of course, what problems we are going to face. And even if we face the problem, we will be happily welcoming the problem. He said, it's okay now, man. Problem is here. It's helping me to remember Krishna much more. So let me focus on Krishna like that. Like we can even see the story of Tukaram, Sant Tukaram. Recently actually recommended by Sandeep Prabhu. I saw the story of Tukaram. Very inspiring. He totally depended on the holy name only, nothing more, nothing else. He was a grihastha, householder, wife, children. So wife was always angry with him because he is always chanting. He'll disappear, you cannot even find him. He'll be up in the mountain somewhere chanting the holy name. And then she will be so angry that the children are starving, what you're doing, you're a householder, why you're not taking care of the family, Then he said, okay, yes, you're right, I'll do some work, let me work. So he goes and work for this landowner. They are agriculture, the landowner is there. So this landowner told him, okay, what your job is, very simple, you just sit down, you see that no animals come and attack the crops, like cows, big animals. Just observe only. So he said, okay, I'll do this. So he was sitting down, but he was just chanting. And then there was a person in the village who is like a great pandit, but he is very, very envious of Tukaram. Very envious. He always wants to bring Tukaram down. So what he did was, this envious person took a lot of cows and released into the field, and cows and bulls, and make them destroy the crops. And Tukaram Baba was just chanting, he was chanting the Vitala, Vitala, Panduranga. He forgot, he doesn't even know what's happening. And the whole field was smashed, all smashed. And then the landowner came and said, oh, because of you, I lost all my yield, all my crops, all my whatever grains I'm supposed to receive this year, gone because of you. So they went to the panchayat, and the panchayat said that Tukaram, because there were still some crops remaining, some. So they told the landlord, so you take the crops, you take out the grains. I don't know what you call that word, the process of, beating the husk, removing the grains. So you take out the grains, and let's say if this year you only have 100 kilo, but last year you had 500 kilo, the remaining, the loss, right, 400 kilo loss, the amount of money, Tukaram will have to sell his house and give it to you. So he had to put his house on the mortgage. Then he came home, he told his wife what happened, and she was totally devastated. He said, now you lost our house also. What are you doing, Already we have nothing. And now we have no house also. He said, don't worry, Panduranga will take care. So they started to do the process of taking the grains out of the husk and all. And it was only very less, like that only, very small. So the workers all went inside to the room, to their place to take some rest. And Krishna, just now we saw the word, right? Annad bhavati bhutane prajanya anna sambhava yakyat bhavati prajanyo yakya karma samudbhava. Krishna gave so much of grains that it became like a mountain. And they came out, they were shocked to see what is this mountain here. Wow. Oh my God. What miracle is this? And then everybody understood the power of Tukaram, pure devotee of the Lord. That by his chanting, the Lord saved him. And then the landlord saw this and he understood he offended Tukaram also. And immediately they packed all the rice. And the landowner said, last year I had 500 kilo, I don't know, I'm just making up the numbers. Last year I had 500 kilograms, I will only take that much. The excess 1000 or 2000 kilograms goes to Tukaram. So everything he gives to him. And Tukaram brings all, and then all of them deliver so much of rice to Tukaram, son Tukaram's house. Piles of rice, piles, thousands of sacks. And you know what he does? He never keep one for himself also. All the villagers come and he distributes to everyone. So that is a Brahmana. When Brahmana gets charity, he gives away. And then the wife was crying, hey, please keep some for us, what you are doing. So like that, people could understand he is a pure devotee. And how he became a pure devotee? He chants the holy name of the Lord. And not only that, he was initiated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is one of his gurus. So you can see how powerful the holy name of the Lord. That by chanting, even though he has no money to take care of the family, he's getting so much money than even the millionaire. Of course he distributed it. You see? So in the lives of these pure devotees, you can see that how it's a simple process, not complicated. We never need to do so much of tapasya, go under the mountain. We don't need to do anything. Just simple, just vibrate this Hare Krishna mantra. But very few people are doing this. We don't want to do this. We think that, this is what, just repeating some words, this mantra. Jai Shri Shri Radha. So, you see, I'll show you a verse. So here you can see that, therefore it should be understood that one is easily relieved from all sinful reactions by chanting the holy name of the Lord and chanting of His qualities and activities. This is the only process recommended for the relief of sinful reaction. Even if one chants the holy name of the Lord with improper pronunciation, he will achieve relief from material bondage if he chants without offense. Ajamila, for example, was extremely sinful, but while dying he merely chanted the holy name, and although calling his son, he achieved complete liberation because he remembered the name of Narayana. So you must chant. If you chant without offense, there are 10 offenses, then liberation is very easy. Like Ajamil, he was such a sinful person. Whole life was doing sin, but because in time of death he just shouted his son's name Narayana without any offense. The Vishnu Dutas came and gave him a second chance. See how powerful it is. So please make this the most important priority habit in your life, to chant every day without fail. Like without fail we are eating, right? Without fail we are drinking water. Without fail we are breathing. So the chanting also has to be like that. It has to happen like second nature. You don't need, like naturally it should come. And by you will be able to come out of this cycle of birth and death. So I think that's all I can speak for today. Any comments or questions you can ask? Okay, so no questions. So please later purchase the. Let me just check if there's any question online. So yeah, we don't have any question online as well. So we finish here.